This is a statement of the Belize Green Independent Party. Here in Belize, we are in a serious situation. The power abuse on the land by both traditional parties since independence is intolerable as pain. Dr. Gale's report states clearly after its research paid by the government of Belize that 80% of our national economy is linked to the pockets of an elite of 4% of the population and lives splendidly as a cupola elite in the government and in the royal opposition. This dual tacit collusion has Mayan Belizeans at the south with no land, while the Mayan descendants that belong to such evil elite group have acres of land and all the big businesses in Belize, in comparison to those in the north side of Belize. The representation is also incoherent with our House of Representatives distribution. Belize City has 20% of the population and has almost 35% of the seats in the House of Representatives. And with all the powerful ministries, while the districts with 80% of the population only has 65% of the seats in the House and are only given rubber stamp ministries. How, why, and when our social cohesion after independence was twisted, bent, and deviated? Our history explains that the west of Belize was the center of the logging, and Chicle, which transformed what is now Belize. Our history also explains that our economy had a flow from the west to the east in its brute products of our forest extraction. Guatemalans, on the other hand, came to buy the fancy products of Europe sold at Bata Shoes, Brody's, Hofios, Wildman, etc. Our history narrates also that masses of people riot and stoned the government's house when our money was devalued around the 1950s, where the People's Committee was also formed and triggered some political party that through a so-called Pacific Constructive Revolution brought forth a shameful bilateral independence in the 21st of September 1981. Many so-called expert liars drafted that dishonorable constitution. Either those people, and the elite took cost to independence, as the royal opposition they are at the present, acted in a retrograde way with this signature to lawfully turn our bilateral independence with England, who still controls half of Belize's sovereignty, into a possible trilateral independent nation or independence. That signature, that the serpent of Guthrie Smith and Asa Schumann signed around 2005, which was the framework agreement, it compromised our sovereignty and slowly created the twist that bent us into a possible trilateral independent country if we vote yes in the ICJ referendum. This is how our sovereignty has been twisted, bent, and debated by these men in power. In the name of truth, in the name of that man that gave his life so that we can be redeemed, Belize Green Independent Party, B.G.I.P, claims the dead body of our nation so as to resurrect it in this third decade and rise spiritually once more. The Judas Iscariots that should have hanged themselves are dead politicians walking, and we shall stop their abuse on the 6th of October 2013 by voting no at the referendum. The present government, instead of investing in 20 small $1 million business industry that produce the products we daily consume, which is our objective, and which can create 200 jobs, they prefer to give it away. Give those 20 million to a selected 200 gang members to restore them. Crime will stop because everybody will start to work and with better salaries in our revolting economic initiative. Due to jobless people, criminal activities have risen. I can talk all of these atrocities and calamities this bunch of pirates has us immersed as a people using Keynesian economics since the year 2000 instead of social private programs that can take us to prosperity and social justice to all Belizeans. They have turned our economic activities away from its origins. Gang culture governs now and upon citizen culture. Instead of cutting our trees and throwing it to the Mopan River to flow downwards to the old commercial city, the logging is done by Guatemalans, bandits, and stealing our shattered trees, gold, whatever, that goes towards that country. Even our Belizean dollar goes 20 times of what those quetzales come here to Belize. The Battle of St. George's Key, where the Baymen and English fought and drove the invading forces towards Guatemala. Now it is the other way around. It's the Highland men, along with England and the Organization of American States, OAS, who are driving our Belizean population from west to east of Belize. If we do not stop them, we can lose half of Belize. There is the battlefield. There in the west. There it is the battlefield now. Not here in the old battlefield. It has turned, it has shifted. Our strength must go there, at the west, where Guatemala will be stopped. No government security officer has now the morality and ethical behavior of patriotic composure to safeguard Belize better than we the people. It is only we the people that has to resign massively from those blue and red traitors parties and take in our shoulders all the responsibility to safeguard our dignity that Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez mentioned to me in a private gathering in Caracas. I will make sure that the Venezuelan funds be disbursed not for political gimmicks as the blue and red has done corruptively. I call on President Chavez to stop all disbursements that are draining Venezuela's revolution and not being used to expand that friendly initiative so that Belize and Venezuela expand their industrial enterprises ties as the secret agreement made at that time when I was there. That is the only secret agreement that the government of Belize, past and present, have disobeyed. We should increase our trade and industries with Venezuela and start to think positively for the benefit of all Belizeans. I would accept the Venezuelan funds to be used for salary increase of the teachers, to re-educate the people living in poverty so as to embrace the industrious idea to work and maintain their family than to wait in line like beggars, anxious for alms to sustain their whole family. I dislike that evil agreement the Blue had on the health scheme that would only benefit a few blue-eye compadres by raking for themselves the gigantic profits. The benevolent fund of Venezuela should evolve the meek and the innocent to unfold into a good citizen, not into a gang hero, as presently made. Belize Green Independent Party is completely towards the direction of responding for clear judicial definitions that are deducted from all rightful general concepts we have achieved up to independence. We have the right answer to respond to our economic history of our national movement that started with the People's Committee and went political to achieve an independence. That since then, it has governed us erroneously. The ICJ compromise clearly testifies such coward act and therefore has triggered formation of BGIP to take the vanguard of a movement for prosperity and justice for all. We shall take this vanguard in investing in the private sector, in industrial businesses to create jobs. No more our people shall stay defenseless with lack of education, lack of social private programs, lack of courage to go to work on account of this rivalry in our both parties that exist. This domestic economy that we will create shall emancipate us as a nation. Our new re-education revolution has just started. Our new industrial job creating revolution has just started. May God help us in this endeavor. Let the light of this divine wisdom direct our plans and endeavors, so that with His help we may obtain our just objectives. With His guidance, may all our endeavors tend to peace and social justice, liberty, national happiness, the increase of industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. Thank you, and may God bless you all.